We'll be talking about a story in the news and learning some vocabulary along the way. I'm Alice, and joining me today is Kaz. Hi, Kaz.
Hi there, Alice.
Now, if you're listening to this programme on the 21st of December 2012, or after, then I'm very happy to say that the world hasn't ended.
Alice, what do you mean the world hasn't ended?
Well, according to the Maya civilization, the people who lived in Central America 4,000 years ago, the world was supposed to end on December the 21st, 2012.
Well, thank goodness they got the day wrong.
Yes. It's very interesting, though, because the ancient Mayan calendar said December the 21st, 2012 marked the end of a 5,000-year cycle. We'll find out more in a minute, but first, my question of the day, Kaz. December the 21st is an important day in the calendar because it's usually the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, what's the word in English for this? Is it A, the winter equinox, B, the winter solstice, or C, midwinter?
I'd say midwinter.
Well, as usual, we won't hear the answer until the end of the programme. Now, let's find out more about the Mayan people and their calendar, which dates back over 5,000 years. Professor Pedro Yak from Guatemala held a ceremony on a beach in Havana, Cuba, to mark the end of the Mayan calendar cycle. December 21st, 2012 may not mark the end of the world, but Yak hopes people will use it as a day to think about what is important in life.
Enough of the culture of fear. We should stop planting fear, not in the present generations, not in the future generations. We have to return to our roots. We are the children of Mother Earth. When we forget this, everything becomes complicated.
So Professor Pedro Yak says he hopes humanity returns to its roots, to think about where we came from, how we were created.
He says people are children of Mother Earth. The earth is considered to be the source of all living things.
And he thinks that when people forget where they come from, everything becomes complicated.
He says we should stop planting fear, spreading fear.
What's really interesting is how many people believe that the end of the world will happen soon. According to a poll by Reuters Ipsos earlier this year, nearly 10% of people believe that the end of the world is nigh, is coming soon. Here are two interesting pieces of language to listen out for from the next speaker. Humanity's time on Earth is up, which means people will die out. And doomsday. What's doomsday, Kaz?
Doomsday is the name given to the day the world will end.
Here's reporter Tom Santarelli.
Last May, a Reuters Ipsos poll found that nearly 10% of people worldwide go along with the interpretation that humanity's time on Earth is up. The doomsday prediction has spawned a glut of films and books on the subject.
Reporter Tom Santarelli says the doomsday prediction has spawned a glut of films and books about the end of the world. A glut of. It means a lot of.
And he used the verb spawned. We usually hear that in the term of frog spawn, the thousands of little eggs that a frog lays, which grow very fast.
And as the world hasn't ended, I wonder what we can conclude from the end of this Mayan calendar cycle. Here's archaeologist Richard Henson, who says it marks a new era, a new period in time.
What we see here is a new era. We are privileged to witness and enjoy the end of one era that started 3,114 years before Christ. It's rare to have an opportunity like this to experience a very important date.
Archaeologist Richard Henson, who says we are privileged, fortunate to witness and enjoy the end of one era and experience a new one.
He says it's rare to have an opportunity like this to experience a very important date.
Now, that question I asked you at the beginning of the programme, Kaz, what's the name in English for the event that usually happens on or around December the 21st every year in the Northern Hemisphere?
And I said midwinter.
Well, it's a bit of a trick question. Midwinter can be around December the 21st, but we usually think of it as a longer period of time. And the winter equinox doesn't exist. Equinox means that the day is the same length as the night, so that usually happens in March and September. So the answer I was looking for was the winter solstice. It's the day when the sun at noon is at its lowest altitude above the horizon.
I see. So that usually occurs in the Northern Hemisphere sometime around December the 21st.
That's right. And before we go, Kaz, could you read us some of today's words and phrases?
I'd be delighted. We heard equinox, solstice, return to our roots, Mother Earth, spawned, a glut of.
Thanks, Kaz.